On the one hand, many years ago, a company in Chicago called Revolution Brewing made and sold this hat. This nice black hat with white letters on the front that say R-E-V, Rev, for Revolution Brewing. It took about 5 minutes before a pastor found this hat and posted a picture of themselves wearing it on Instagram, and it became a viral sensation among clergy. And all of us said, I need one of those hats. And some of us, like me, did what we often do, which is say, wow, I need one of those hats. I'll buy one later. Then one day, Revolution Brewing got online and said, we're not making the hat anymore. There are just a few left. We're almost sold out. So if you want one, if you're one of those weird clergy people, get it now. And within seconds, they were gone. And I still hadn't gotten mine. So I hopped on Facebook, and I messaged Megan, who is a friend of mine from college who works for Revolution Brewing. And I said, hey, Megan, we haven't talked in like 20 years, but if you have any more of those hats left, could you snag me one? And she worked on it, and she let me know that deep in the bowels of Revolution Brewing, in a secret vault under the tap room, there was a hat left. And she would put it up on the website, and I could buy it. And I did. This is the very last Revolution Brewing baseball cap for pastors, which I got thanks to connections on social media. On the other hand, part of my job now, part of the job of many pastors, and part of my job before this one, and part of my job before that one has been managing social media. And I do a pretty good job, I think. This church has a solid social media presence. Right now, we are streaming this service on Facebook and on YouTube. Later today, the recording of the service and the sermon, nicely edited with the sound levels evened out and all that kind of stuff, will be posted on Facebook and YouTube. Tomorrow, a recording of the takeaway will go up on Facebook and like Instagram, so that everybody can know what they were supposed to get out of this service. And on Tuesday, a shortened version of the sermon, a kind of little edit, will go up on Facebook and YouTube, the miniature message, so that everybody can see that little bit and be inspired to go listen to the whole thing. On Wednesday, there will be the Wednesday check-in on Facebook and Instagram, a little like, hey, how are we doing with that takeaway thing? On Thursday, there will be the video invitation to Palm Sunday worship next week on Facebook and Instagram. And on Friday, there will be the Sunday sermon preview for that Sunday on Facebook and Instagram. And Saturday, there will be nothing. Unless something comes up, unless there's an opportunity. I think we do a pretty good job with social media. There is something almost every day. But the problem with managing social media is that at some point you look at the numbers. How many people have seen this? How many people have looked at this? How many minutes of this did they watch? How many people commented? How many people shared? How many people know that you can share, that there's a little button right there? How many more people could we get to see this? How many more people could we inspire with this message? How many more people might spot this post on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, or if we branched out on Blue Sky or Mastodon or TikTok or the one that I won't mention, or the other one that I won't mention, and find their way here to First Congregational United Church of Christ. It is easy when you are managing social media to get caught up in the metrics, to stop thinking in terms of how am I communicating to people and start thinking in terms of how many people are paying attention, and wouldn't it be nice if more people paid attention? And I will tell you, I know some of the tricks to get more people to pay attention. If I were meaner, if I were more controversial, if every sermon was titled, "Watch this pastor destroy someone or something," we would get more attention. Those engagement numbers would go up. And it would be possible to mistake that for success, for doing well, even though it's not doing good. On the one hand, social media really does help us connect to each other. At its best, it is a way of maintaining friendships and relationships with folks who I would have lost contact with years ago. But now I know what they're doing. And I can joy in their joys and sorrow in their sorrows and support them from afar. On the other hand, social media begs for our engagement and our attention and will do whatever it has to get that. And some content creators will get down to the lowest levels, will get right down in the muck in order to capture your attention and your engagement and sell you something that you had no intention of buying. And it's not just social media. There are all sorts of things that grab us little bit by little bit and say, without saying it. Say by sneaking in under the wire. Say by whispering quietly to us, "Here are your values. If you do this, more people will like you. If you do this, you'll have more money, and more people will like you. If you do this, you'll have more stuff, a bigger house, a nicer car, cooler clothes. If you just sell off this bit of yourself to the powers of this world, you could have everything." In our reading from the gospel today, Jesus is teaching, and some folks try to test him. They know that Jesus is a Jewish rabbi, a Jewish teacher. They know that his followers are Jewish folks. They know that the crowds that gather around him are Jewish, and they know that the Jewish people are under the thumb of the Romans, that there is an empire ruling over them. And so they send some folks to ask him, is it lawful? Is it ethical? Is it okay to pay taxes to those Roman jerks who have their boots on our necks? They know that there is no good answer. If Jesus says, no, don't do that, that would be ridiculous, you're just participating in your own oppression by paying those taxes, then the Romans will know that he is a rebel, a troublemaker, a no-good-nick, and they will take care of him. If he says, yes, it's the law, by all means, pay your taxes, put on a happy face, fill out the form, hand your money over to the tax collector, the crowd will know that he is a collaborator, a problem, a hypocrite, and they will abandon him. Either way, Jesus is in a bad position. There is no right answer here. There is no answer that satisfies everyone. And so Jesus says, show me a coin. Show me the thing that you pay those taxes with. And they hand him a coin, and he looks at it and says, whose face is on this coin? I'm sorry I don't have one. Cashless society, right? And they say that is the head of Caesar. That is a big deal. That is the head of Caesar, and Caesar is the ruler of the Roman Empire. And the Romans say that Caesar is a god and a son of a god. The Romans say that it is every citizen's duty to worship Caesar. And Jesus says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Give to God what is God's. Which is still not a satisfying answer. After all, Caesar would claim that what is Caesar's is everything. That Caesar is due not only the money, but the loyalty, the allegiance, the worship, the honor. And these Jewish people and their prophets would say that what belongs to Caesar is nothing. It is all due to God, everything that Caesar thinks he should get. But it gets Jesus out of trouble, and it illuminates something for us. That we are often caught in this place between Caesar and God, trying to figure out what we can give to the world as it is, and what we must give to the world as God is calling it to be. Do I get on social media and pursue the engagement by any means necessary? Do I stay off of social media altogether and spend that time in prayer instead? Jesus knows the reality. God knows the reality. We live in a world where forces are competing for our allegiance. Where the powers of sin and death and everything that makes life less, where empire, where Caesar is demanding our allegiance. Where, and I swear I picked this reading well before this week, people are putting their faces on coins, demanding attention. And we live in a world where we seek God, and peace, and love, and mercy, and grace, and it is hard to hold the tension of these things. It is hard to figure out the way forward with these things. We are all doing the best we can, even when the best we can certainly doesn't feel very good. But here is what I will tell you. There is not a nice, clean line between the things of the world and the things of God. It would be nice if there were. If we could put everything to one side and everything else to the other and just spend our time over here. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not getting through life without social media. I'm not getting through life without paying my taxes. I'm not getting through life without buying something even though the company is not that good. I'm not getting through life avoiding every product that I should be avoiding. I'm not getting through life only buying from reputable, good, fair companies. I'm not somehow going to find the version of capitalism that is holy. Because there is no version of capitalism or any other economic system that is holy. I am stuck just trying to do my best, knowing that my best is not good enough. Knowing that my best is just a little step towards God. But I am comforted in all of that by the knowledge that Jesus knows this, that Christ knows this, that God knows this and says, you are loved anyway. That Jesus knows this, that Christ knows this, that God knows this and hands us grace. That the goal is not to be perfect, it is just to be better. It is just to practice, and by practicing, make progress. So maybe when I am paying my taxes to Caesar in whatever form those may take, maybe even then I can be thinking about what God demands that those taxes be used for. Maybe I can think about how I can change things a little bit. And since we do not live in Rome and we are not ruled by an emperor, I can vote in ways that bring the use of my money more in line with what God is asking of us. I can spend my money a little more in line with what God is asking of us. I can tell companies and corporations to do things that are a little more in line with what God is asking for us. And if I do that enough, if we do that enough, if I convince enough people to do that enough, maybe, just possibly, things might change a little and we might get a little closer to God's reign of love. And if that seems too big and too hard, maybe in this world that cares so little about the people around us, when I am interacting with customer service, I can be kind, even when I'm frustrated. When I am calling on the phone to deal with some problem, I can say, I know it's not your fault, I just need some help. I can ask, how are you, to a stranger and mean it. I can see someone in need and share what I have. I can do the little bits of love that nurture God's reign of love. In our reading from the book of Titus, we are told to be kind. We're also told to be law-abiding, and that's a little iffy, but we are told to be kind and loving and good and all of those things. And it seems like that can't possibly change the world, like the forces arrayed against us are too big and too strong and too powerful, but maybe. And I'm going to say this. It is an important aside. We are not called to go along to get along. There are times when we must call people in and when we must call people out and when we must disobey unjust laws, unjust rules, unjust norms. When we must make good trouble for the sake of friends and neighbors and strangers and enemies and the God's reign of love. There are times when we must do that. And there are times to just be kind to people who are as powerless as we are. to be loving to people who are just as powerful as we are, to understand that all of us, most of us, are just doing the best we can. And if we share that love, if we can catch ourselves before we fall to the powers of sin and death and everything that makes life less, if we can get on social media and not care about the engagement numbers, if we can get off social media when we need to and spend time in real life with our friends and neighbors, we might just build enough love. We might just grow enough love. We might just bring forth enough love that the world will change bit by bit. And in all of that, we can be co-conspirators with the God who is love until love fills all the earth. So I'm not going to give up everything. I can't give up everything. I just have to do my best, knowing that my best is not good enough, relying on God's grace and knowing that I can do better. I can be intentional. I can, even in those poor moments where I feel caught up in the powers of empire, set my mind on the God who is love and follow Christ all the way through to new life in God's reign of love forever.